Okay, so big things happening in the NBA. Not only was Redick announced as the Lakers' new head coach, but also Josh Giddey was traded for Alex Caruso in a straight-up trade. No picks, just 1-for-1. And I wanted to come on here and just give some of my preliminary thoughts about these things. Obviously, they just happened, so I haven't had a lot of time to really think these through. But let's just take a look at them with fresh eyes and see what we think. So I'm going to start with the Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso trade, because I think there's a little more thoughts to be had about that rather than the Redick situation. And, right off the bat, I think the easy thing to say is that this is a really good trade for the Thunder. They bring in Alex Caruso, who's one of the best, if not the best, perimeter defender in the league, and, a capable three-point shooter, something that Josh Giddey wasn't able to be, at least on a consistent basis. And so they really solved that problem. They have another guy they can play on the court. He can knock down threes. He can play great defense. He can handle the ball if needed to, even though that's not like the main attribute of his game. He can do that at times. Alex Caruso used to be a point guard. But yeah, just a really good trade for the Thunder overall. And the fact that they didn't even give up a pick, considering how many picks the Thunder have, they got Alex Caruso for no picks, just Josh Giddey. That's pretty good. But for the Bulls, I think there's a couple different ways you could look at this. You might think, we gave up Alex Caruso and didn't get any picks. All we got was Josh Giddey. You might not think Josh Giddey's that good. I would disagree with you. I think he's a good player. But is this what you want as a return for Alex Caruso? Now, you could look at it two different ways. Picks are an uncertain commodity. Sometimes teams get picks in trades, and it's like, well, that pick amounted to nothing, so it's like, who cares, whatever. And then other times, that pick can be, the star player for the franchise. So it really just depends if you think the Bulls would have used those picks in a good way, which I don't know if the Bulls have the best draft history. But I don't mind Josh Giddey coming in as the Bulls. But what this does tell you, if you're a Bulls fan or even just, paying attention, I think this means that the Bulls are starting to blow it up and get things going. So I think this is going to be the first of a lot of different moves by the Bulls. Maybe not a lot, but I think they're going to at least try to move Zach LaVine. I don't know if they'll be able to do that this offseason. Maybe that'll be something that happens during the season once it comes around. But of course, this is all just speculation because we still have a long offseason to go. There's a lot more trades to happen, a lot more free agency. Free agency hasn't even started yet. The draft is coming up. So there's a lot that we're going to have to see fall in line before we can really give our real opinions on the outlook of the Bulls. But right now, I think I would say it's sort of a step in the right direction. I think it makes them maybe a worse team because Alex Caruso is just that good on defense and playing his role on offense. But I think it's a step in the right direction. I think Josh Giddey is a young enough player with enough talent to where you can convince yourself that, hey, this guy could be, a building piece moving forward. He's like a 6'10" combo guard. He's a really interesting piece to have on a team going forward. How will he be able to pair alongside with Kobe White? I don't know. That's something we're just going to have to wait and see. The Bulls I don't think the Bulls are really looking to be that competitive next year anyway, so I don't think that's the biggest concern right now. I think their concern is bringing in as much young, promising players and see who rises to the top. Last year, it seemed to be Kobe White. Maybe he'll be able to play alongside Josh Giddey. I think this is a good risk to take. Maybe you're not getting the picks that you could have gotten for an Alex Caruso, but those probably wouldn't have been the best picks because you probably would have been sending them to, a good team that's going to have late first-round picks, and you could get a star or a really good player in those, but the chances are that Josh Giddey is going to be better than anyone those picks could have got the Bulls. And also, he's an immediate impact. It's not like, we traded Caruso for a 2027 first-round pick or two 2027 first-round picks. It's like, okay, that's 3 years away. At least this way you're seeing some immediate returns. I think that's probably the best way to look at it. So overall, great trade for the Thunder. Okay trade for the Bulls. We'll just have to wait and see about that, see what else they do with the roster. But I don't hate it from either way. I love it for the Thunder. For the Bulls, it's fine. Yeah. Bulls are kind of my favorite team in the East, so I'm actually kind of excited to see what this can do. Obviously, I'm a Mavericks fan, but Bulls are my number one East team. I want to see what they can do. How can Josh Giddey fit in there? Kobe White, Josh Giddey. Is that a pair that can, I don't know, maybe make something happen? All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's focus in on the JJ Redick news a little bit. So just recently it was announced that Monty Williams was leaving the Pistons or being dismissed from the Pistons, whatever. So maybe that put a little bit of a fire under the Lakers to get this deal done with JJ Redick. But, you know, if you've been listening around, it was basically guaranteed that JJ Redick was going to be the Lakers coach after the finals were done. But then that whole Dan Hurley situation happened where they made this offer to Dan Hurley and then he molded over and turned it down. You might speculate, was this a little bit of a smokescreen by the Lakers just to say like, hey, you know, we did our due diligence, we looked around, and then, you know, we settled on JJ Redick, first-time head coach, after the best college coach turned us down. And I don't know, maybe they really did want Dan Hurley. I don't know, but it really seems like JJ Redick was kind of always their guy, from what we've been hearing. There was some talk about JJ Redick ending up being the Pistons coach. You know, obviously that didn't come to pass. I never really bought into that too much. I started to a little bit when that whole Dan Hurley thing came up. I was like, oh shoot, is Dan Hurley going to go to the Lakers and then JJ Redick going to go to the Pistons, who we know has a pretty good relationship with like Cade Cunningham and stuff. So I thought maybe it would happen, but no, we're going to get JJ Redick with the Lakers. And one of the funny things that I think we're all really waiting to see is his and LeBron's podcast going to keep going, you know? Is it going to be player and coach having podcasts after the games and stuff? That would be funny to see. Or what else would be funny is because LeBron technically isn't under a guaranteed contract right now. He could opt out and leave, which I think would be really funny if the Lakers bring in JJ Redick, his podcast buddy, and then LeBron just leaves. I think that would be pretty funny. Probably not going to happen, though. I think LeBron's probably sticking around in LA. I think that's where he wants to be. But yeah, I don't think us outside the NBA are really the best at evaluating, who's a good coach? What makes a good coach? You know, we don't really get to see the behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on in the locker rooms. We don't know what's going on in the huddles necessarily. But from what you gather from JJ Redick's podcast, both his own Old Man with a Three and then Mind the Game with LeBron James, you get the sense that he has a very good basketball mind, respected basketball mind. You know, if LeBron James thinks you know what you're talking about, then you probably do. But also you could argue that whenever LeBron James handpicks his coach, it doesn't really go that well. But that might not be the case this time. The reports are that LeBron didn't have anything to do with this signing, which, you know, how much do you believe that? But whatever. That's what the reports say anyways. But yeah, I think JJ Redick could be a pretty good head coach. He seems likable. He seems charismatic enough to get along with the players. He seems like he knows the game very well. I mean, he played in the NBA for, like 15 years or something like that, longer. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, part of you worries that is he just going to be another scapegoat for the Lakers? Is he going to be one season and gone because the season didn't go the way they wanted? Or maybe he'll get 2 seasons and then he's gone. But from the reports, the Lakers are excited about him being their coach now and their coach into the future, which is hopefully what teams think whenever they hire a coach, I guess. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see about that. I know I say we're going to have to wait and see a lot, but I don't know. With a coach signing like this, a first-time head coach, there's not really much else to say other than it seems like they know what they're doing. They're respected, and what else can you do but wait and watch what happens, you know? I just really hope the podcast keeps going. I think that'll be just a really funny dynamic. Even if I'm not watching every episode, I think it'll just be really funny to see like, oh, Lakers win a game, and then like an hour later, not an hour later, but you know, the next day a podcast episode is up of JJ Redick and LeBron talking about the game. I think that would be a very strange and interesting dynamic that we've never seen before. You know, a coach and a player just like talking about the season in a podcast as it goes. That would just be a really, really bizarre thing to see. But yeah, that's all I really had for you guys. The draft is coming up soon, so there's going to be a lot more stuff happening. There might be more trades. things are heating up again. As weird as it seems, you know, now that the off season is here, things are starting to get going again. You know, the news and the rumors are starting to churn, and we might start to see a lot more stuff happen. So if you liked the video, or if you stayed around this long, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me a lot, and I appreciate it. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.